And so anyone who speaks has to use the mic to be heard. That's going to make it a little bit difficult. So we'll try to pass it. But sometimes people on the end might have to come up to just to give you an idea of how we're going to work with the situation that we've been given. I want to thank everyone for coming. We're going to start off with allowing each of the wonderful, beautiful people on this panel to introduce themselves and share a little bit about their stories. I want to just remind ourselves here that this is important and real life work, and to breathe and to listen and to open our hearts and our minds as we engage in this conversation. There may be moments that become very emotional, and there may be triggers because the world that we're living in is full of them. So there may be moments when people may want to step outside for a minute to take a breath, and that's fine. So to just be aware of your own needs and to be comfortable in exercising what you need in order to feel grounded and okay is totally welcome here. The movement over the past 6 years that has erupted across this country and has been led by families has resulted in a shift in the conversation around how we are conceptualizing violence and who is violent and who are the perpetrators of violence. The youth who have taken to the streets here in Chicago, in Baltimore, in Ferguson, in St. Louis, in North Carolina, in Texas, in Minnesota, in Indiana, all across this colonial land, have been paving the way for interrupting the narrative that has denied and silenced and erased our loved ones who have been killed, tortured, assaulted, and brutalized by the police, vigilantes, and its allies. Their presence here and their presence in the street is an interruption of the status quo that renders this pain invisible. So part of what we are doing in this movement is refusing to silence and erase our loved ones that the system has tried to do. We refuse to allow them to be erased. They will never be erased. We will continue marching in these streets for as long as it takes. We will continue fighting in every form and every mechanism that we can. And we will continue demanding for justice in their names and in all of their names. And these families have been leading that fight. And they have been doing so with their own blood, sweat, and tears, and many tears. And it is our duty to listen to them and to fight with them. So I want to just thank all of you here on this panel. Thank you for being here. And if at a moment it becomes a little too much to sit here and you want to go out and take a breath, please do that. And you are welcome to do that. So I want to start by introducing one of the fiercest revolutionary leaders that I am honored to fight along with, whom I met on the battlefield of these Chicago streets marching, and who has led the movement here in Chicago, not just for justice for her son, Ronald Johnson, who was killed 8 days before LaFon McDonald by CPD, but has been fighting for all the families who have loved ones who have been killed. And her name is Dorothy Holmes.
Good afternoon. My name is Dorothy Holmes, the mother of Ronald Johnson, who was murdered 8 days before Laquan McDonald's. And my fight is all these mother and father fight. My son's life matters, and so did theirs. And we got a law that needs to be reversed back into our favor, where when these police kill our kids, we can ask for a special prosecutor to look into these cases against the police. And only way we get that law reversed back, if we go down there to Springfield and reach out to the governor and Attorney General, who plays a role in it also, we need that law back in our favor, because if not, it's going to keep happening. They're going to keep killing our kids, and we're not going to never get justice. Me being me, I ain't got nothing in my body but fight, and I'm going to give them a fight. I've been doing it for 5 years, and I do it for 5 more. You don't want to bring charges against this officer, but the city want to settle because they're saying it's costing them too much money. It costs me heartache and pain every morning I wake up with my child and I hit her. So you think I care about some money that I can't go to Mount Hope Cemetery and buy my son back with? No, I don't care about that money. I'm going to keep on fighting because I need justice for my son. Because you lied on him, you said you turned around and pointed a gun at the officer, but the dash cam footage showed different. It showed him running behind the police car towards Washington Park when the officer jumps out the back seat shooting at him. Shot at him 5 times, 2 other bullets hit him. The main bullet that hit him was in the back shoulder part, hit the artery in his neck and exited through his eye socket. That's the bullet that killed him. Then, after that, they tried to sanction me because I made a statement about what goes around comes around. Well, it do. What goes around comes around. You got kids too, so they took it as a threat, and it was a threat. So we went down there. About a good 50 to 100 of us went down there. Since y'all looking for me, y'all ain't got to come knock on my door. Right. I'm going to come to y'all. Right. So when we got down there, I get off the elevator. They got the cameras and everything flashing. Get y'all cameras out my face before I say something else. So we all walk to the side, and then they come over there with, oh, all charges against you been dropped. I think that was the best thing that y'all ever did, because we was going to give y'all another fight.
Right.
Ever since then, I stuck it out. It's like the strong survive, the weak give up, and I'm the strong one. And all these activists that supposed to be, quote, activists, they want for us. Right. It's like, we're going to talk about this particular child. We're going to get money for this child. No, I'm going to tell y'all like this. If you use my son's name for anything, I will sue you. I will be in court, and I might do something else to you. So many of them backed away, but I knew who was there for me. Black Lives Matter in Chicago, and Frank was CPAC. I should just go sit in his office just to listen to what they was talking about. I'm like, okay, this is where I want to be at. Then I leave him, then I go to the Black Lives Matter Chicago meetings. I'm like, okay, this is where I want to be at. They've been fighting with me for 5 years now. Everybody else gone back and hiding. But they still preying on the next family. But me being me, I'm a fighter. I don't consider myself as no activist or none of that. I'm just a mother who's grieving, and I want justice, not just for my son, for all of them. Right. We all deserve it. All of them. Our kids' life matters, and you all have a nice afternoon.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Melissa McKinnis. I'm the mother of Danye Jones, who in Ferguson
He was out of Ferguson. He was one of the 7 activists that were mysteriously killed, or well, they said they committed suicide, but October 17, 2018, I woke up to find my son, his lifeless body hanging in from my backyard with his pants rolled down, with bruises on his face, and he had indentations on his wrists. Yet, after numerous threats and stalking us for almost a year, because I'm an activist, I led a lot of the protests and I organized a lot of the actions from Ferguson and also in St. Louis. I was a frontliner and I'm still a fighter. It's just that my fight is very, very personal now. It's only been 15 months since I've seen my child. And the last time I saw my child,
Take your time, sister.
It's okay. The last time I saw my child alive, he was in the basement studying for his real estate exam. That he had started his business because he said, "Mom, I don't want you working anymore because you're taking care of us all your life." So I stopped working, and they took him. So I asked that if there are any parents here, raise your hand. Okay, I ask that you close your eyes for a minute. Picture yourself having the best time of your life with your child. And you wake up out of your sleep to find that child dead, murdered. And the same police that stalked you and your family laughed in your face, stalked your whole family afterwards. Now open your eyes. That was my son. That was my family. The pain that I feel right now, it hurts. It hurts. So I continue to fight. That's where I get my strength from. I get my strength from my son, Kanye Jones. I get my strength from all the people out here that have been murdered, their families. When I see these mothers, these parents, when I see them and I hear them talk about their loved ones, it just put the fire under my ass a little more, you know, because there was times where I couldn't get out of bed. So I just ask that you support all of us. We support each other. This is not just a moment, this is a movement. So that means that we have to keep fighting no matter what. Not on our knees, but on our feet. Thank you.
My name is Derek. I'm Melissa's husband. I watched for maybe a year, 2 years. My wife was out and about in the street, for others, different injustices. She's a real close friend. Many people have heard of Darren Wilson, St. Louis. We were real good friends. She led a lot of moves. Because Darren Wilson, she's one of the main faces in St. Louis was organizing, shutting down malls to bring attention and awareness to what's going on in St. Louis. Well, I was at work. She called me, I would say about maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. She couldn't sleep. She said she's having a nightmare. She's having pains going up and down her arm. I was like, and she said she had a dream that there was a panther pulling on her arm. And she just couldn't stop the pain for nothing. So she woke up and said, well, babe, you know, we try to make sense of it, like most people do. So we ended up talking. I told him to get off in a little bit. So we ended up talking all the way home. I get home, she's up, she greets me at the door, and we're talking. And our normal routine, I would normally go let the dog out, so he can run with himself. And I went downstairs, and she asked me, she said, is Daniel down there? So I didn't see him. I didn't see him downstairs. So I let the dog out. Not paying attention. I know I seen a bag at the door. So I let the dog out, he comes back in. And I said, he's not outside either. So she comes back, she goes out because, well, she went downstairs. She said she seen a brick on the side of the bed where he sleeps. And she went and checked the other side of the room, and she didn't see him. So someone told her, I guess, to go outside. She went outside. I'm back in the house at this time, doing what I normally do, cleaning myself and back to work. Then I heard my wife run back in the house, screaming at the top of her lungs, frantically. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And she was trying to get her words together. As though something took place, something outside happened. So we go out and see what's going on. But before I go out, she told me, before I go out, she kept saying, my baby, my baby. And she kept pointing outside. I go outside, and I walk towards the trees. I'm still trying to see, it was still kind of dark. I seen his feet. I know this is hard, I want you to know how serious this is. So I come back in, I was on the floor. I got to tell the story because I want you to feel exactly what we felt that day, October 17th, 2018. So I come back in, and she says to me, she says, is that my baby? I confirmed it. So I woke her brother up, in another room, and went right back out to look at more details. We called 911. They were talking to us. Me and her brother went back outside and looked up. And I seen the sheet around his neck. And it was tied in like somewhere of a military knot. I'm a military man myself. And I seen his pants drawn down, completely turned inside out around his ankles. I seen a knot under his face, on his right cheek. And I seen indentations in his wrist. Okay? There's a chair kicked forward to the right on the other side of the tree. None of that adds up to suicide.
At all.
There's no way that you can hang yourself, tie an intricate knot, and pull your pants down around your ankles. and commit suicide. It's impossible. These are some of the prices and the sacrifices that activists and people, out here advocating for justice. Advocating for justice. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, but use the microphone between.
These are some of the things that advocates.
A little closer.
These are some of the things that advocates, activists, people that fight for justice, for the rights of our people, for the fairness of our people. This is a system that goes against righteousness. It wants to shut you up, shut you down, hurt you in the worst way that they can. Simply because you are here doing something for your people to make something fair. They come to my house where my family sleep. They stalked us, parked outside of our house on several occasions. Shut down our electricity in our house. My wife had to come home to complete darkness. Yes. Yes, this is what they did. And then they had the nerve to come to my house and do that to our son. Now you tell me what type of people is this? What type of mind is this? Every day, I come home and my wife is still dealing with it as though it happened yesterday. The hurt, the pain, she shuts down. I can't even remember the last time my wife smiled. I can't even remember. My name is Derek.
Thank you.
I just want to tell the story that my wife just couldn't tell.
Thank you.
She just couldn't bear it. I just want you all to know this is what we're dealing with. This is a system.
Sad. And it's not the
It's totally
justice
against
system.
what's right for the people. Totally against it. And I'm sure everybody up here understands exactly what I'm saying. Thank you.
So while we're transitioning the mics, I just want to welcome everyone to take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Feel the ground underneath your feet. Feel your back. And at our back are all our loved ones that have passed, supporting us right now in this moment. All our ancestors. All of the ones who have left before us. They are here, supporting this very important work and supporting us in our deepest and darkest moments of pain and struggle. And feel your front and feel your heart. And know that we are fighting together, and together through this is how we can tear down this system that is murderous, that is torturous, and that is the true system of terror. And as things become triggering or upsetting, you can do that wherever you are in your life by closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in and out, feeling the earth underneath your feet, feeling your back, feeling your front. All right, so the two families that we have here from Minnesota to talk about who they are and their loved ones. And this mic seems a little bit better.
It was a little triggering for me because when the St. Paul police murdered my son's father, a lot of things that was done to this family was done exactly to my family. And she showed me the pictures of her son hanging before we started. So it really has triggered me. But August 19, 2009, my son's father, Justin Tigan, was pulled over by the St. Paul police. He did get out of the car and run. But after he ran from the St. Paul police, he was found a couple hours later, brutally beaten all over his body with dog bites on his body. He had the marks like her son on his wrist, so you can tell his wrist was almost detached from his arms. His skull was cracked in half. His head was this big. He had blood all over his face. And he was just, you could tell he was kicked and just beat all over. He bruises all over his body. And then they threw him in a dumpster. And the dump truck came and picked up the dumpster, not knowing that a body was in the dumpster. So when they picked it up, they drove it out to a city called Inver Grove Heights in Minnesota. And Justin came through on the flatbed with the rest of the recycling material, because they thought they threw him in a regular trash, but they had threw him in recycling, which gets sorted. So he came through on the flatbed with the rest of the recycling material. After that, they didn't tell us the truth about what happened, but when we seen him, it was clear that a beating took place. So I have pictures of how brutally Justin was beaten and I was found. After that, we began to get harassment because we hired an attorney because it was clear that they murdered Justin. Then the harassment started. That's when they would follow me with my child in the car. They would sit outside the store until I came out. They would wave at me. They would just sit out in front of my house and his mother's house for long periods of time. And I would look out the window and just see him just sitting there. I was 23 years old at the time. Justin was 24. And I was afraid for my own life. So I've lived with this for the last 10 years because it happened in 2009. And I'm tired of suffering in silence. And I'm just ready to fight.
Come on. Yes.
I will be honest, when they murdered my son's father, they murdered him. They killed me inside. Nobody deserves to die how our men are dying. Nobody deserves this. We have to come together. We have to stick together. We have to stick together no matter what. We got dead people that we love. And with that, there's nothing that can sidetrack me from that. There's nothing that can distract me from that. Like Miss Kim saying, my boots is on the ground with every last family member. I'm fighting with every last family member what's bad for them. I don't know you guys are chafing. But I want to say this before I'm done. The problem that they have is God was there when they did what they did. They can cover it up from people. They can cover it up from whoever they want to cover it up from. They can plant evidence. They can do whatever they want to do. But God was there.
Right.
And because he was there, that's the problem that they have.
Yeah.
They will not win over God. He was there, he knows, and he's the force behind us getting the truth and the justice that we deserve. That is an evil spirit that we fighting up against. And there's no way that we're going to win without God. He was there, he knows, and he's going to bring forth our truth.
Yeah.
Believe that and trust that, and let's stick together and let's put our boots on the ground and keep being out here and keep fighting. That's all.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashley Quinones, the wife of Brian Quinones. He was just murdered in September this year, on September 7th. He was killed in Richfield, Minnesota by 5 police officers, 2 different departments from 2 different cities, and that's how he ended up losing his life, because there's no communication between 2 separate cities, 2 separate police departments. He was killed in less than 14 seconds for running a red light traffic stop. I have his only child. And Minnesota is one of the deadliest police forces in America right now. We've lost 28 people this year. And I'm here for everybody. I'm angry right now. I'm so angry because it's so early. But I'm fighting for everybody. I have a child that I'm scared for. He's scared. We're all scared because they're after us. Because we're out here doing this. But we're dead either way. Everybody's living to die. So you can either fight for something or die for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And we all need it. Okay?
Absolutely.
It's not anybody. It's not a black and a brown issue anymore. It's a policing issue. And they're taking everybody out. And unfortunately, we end up being the most ones that they take out. But in Minnesota, it's people that have autism. It's people in medical emergencies. It's people that called them for help for themselves. It's not sectioned to one particular thing anymore. So I am 100% behind gaining community control over police, because they lost their way on how to do their job.
Yes.
I did not take the oath to protect and serve my community. I didn't go to college and get a degree and be trained on how to take care of the people I'm supposed to protect and serve. You did that. And I don't feel safe in this country anymore. I actually just checked into the Holiday Inn in Chicago. We're here from Minnesota, and we rented out quite a few rooms there. And within 30 minutes of check-in, we had a knock on our door from the security guard with a Blue Lives Matter hat, knowing that we're here for police brutality conference. He decided to knock on my door with me and 3 other survivors who just recently lost our family members, but the harassment is widespread. You can't go anywhere and be safe. And we take the chance of basically being a human sacrifice with this fight, because we are their targets now. When you start speaking up against them, they're going to try to silence you. And I can watch and witness all types of injustices now against everybody that's in the movement. But there's more of us than there is of them. And silence to me is just as bad as the gang of police force. If you're silent, you're part of the problem. And so my challenge is to make sure that everybody gets out and does the work. And it doesn't matter if you have to drive 6 hours, if you have to catch a flight, if you have to telephone conference in or share it on social media. It doesn't matter. You should be a part of every single person's journey, because we're all fighting for everybody. It's for your kids, it's for their kids, it's for me, it's for everybody. So that's what I would like. We all have, I'm sure, Facebooks and things that you can follow our families' movements. I protest almost every week in Minnesota. I know a lot of people, I'm sure, have to protest, and we need your support, because you don't understand the magnitude until it happens to you.